Excuse me, sir, is this the Delta House?
Sure. Come on in.
They have cold beer and action on the game.
I'm shocked to find that gambling is going on in here.
It's time for the Degenerates Next Door.
Dollar bills, y'all.
The calendar has rolled over to March. One of my favorite months of the year. How can you not love the month of March if you are a gambling degenerate? Speaking of, my name is Jason Hammer. Rob Kendall, former elected official and tax-cutting machine alongside of me. I've always said, as a resident of Indianapolis, my favorite months of the year are May, because I love the Indy 500 and I love all the patriotic tributes and all that kind of stuff. The race is great. And then there's March. March Madness. Now, when I was a kid, I'm 47 years old right now.
You look great.
Thank you. God bless you. When I was younger, our state, Indiana, would put team after team into the big dance. Population of the state of Indiana is not huge, but every year you could count on Indiana, Purdue, Notre Dame, Butler. Every once in a while you get a Valpo or a Ball State, an Evansville, an Indiana State.
IUPUI.
IUPUI made it in one year. So, yeah, it's a little disappointing that as of right now, only one team from our state, Indiana, is guaranteed in. Now, the Hoosiers can play their way in, but what has happened to college basketball in the state of Indiana, Rob?
Well, the big one is Indiana, right? I mean, Purdue has elevated. You think about where Purdue was when we were kids. They were always a top 25 team, but never a team you're like, ooh, they could win the national championship. Most years. They had Glenn Robinson. I think they were number one seed, pretty big threat. But I think what you have seen is the decline of IU. Obviously, they're not even making the tournament several times. And obviously decline of Notre Dame. And I think sort of coincides with the fact that a lot of these programs have not, IU, Notre Dame, never totally recovered from losing legendary coaches. Now, Notre Dame had Bray, and they're going through that now that he's gone again. But there was some lean years there after Digger Phelps left as well. So it's really hard to recover. And let's face it, Purdue is it. I mean, we're going to talk about IU here in a minute, but Purdue's your only reliable shot each year to have any sort of success in the NCAA tournament.
And we've talked about this a lot. Indiana stopped doing what made them successful. And I get it. 2025 is not 1985. I totally get that. But when you have Indiana high school basketball as your feeder system, how do you not have anybody that can shoot on your roster? There's no reason for Indiana, Kentucky, programs like that to not have shooting on your roster.
Well, here's the other thing about IU that was always so charming when I was younger. They played hard. They played great defense. You knew about IU, you were going to get two things when Bob Knight was the coach. They were going to play hard, and they were going to play good defense. And they may not be the most talented team, but they were going to do what they did well, which is why even the down years, they were top 25 teams. There were years they weren't winning national championships or they were losing the first round of the tournament, but they were always a 4 or a 5 or a 6 seed. They were winning 21, 22 games a year. They were, winning a couple of big games every year. I hate watching IU. I hate watching IU play basketball now because you never know from one game to the next whether you're going to get what effort you're going to get.
Well, I'm glad that you hate watching Indiana because they're on tonight, Rob. And our professional handicapper coming up a little bit later on, David Stefanoff of Follow Never Fade. I believe he's got action on that game.
Am I wrong, though? Don't you just hate turning on and watching those guys play basketball?
Because it feels like this is a group of dudes that are just there to get paid.
Yep.
Some schools, they spend the NIL money, but the passion is there on the court. Like, say what you want about Cooper Flagg at Duke. Is he a one and done? Absolutely. Is he a rental? Sure. But it looks like he cares. It looks like he wants to play the game of basketball. And every once in a while, you get dudes like that, even if they're really good. Like the guys from UConn last year, that starting lineup.
Yep.
They gelled well. I'm sure they were paid well, but they had that dog in them, right? They wanted to physically beat you and impose their will on you. I don't see that with some of these dudes. It's almost like, yeah, I'm getting paid, bite me. And that's the feeling I get with Indiana. And the reason we keep bringing them up, Number 3 in NIL spending. Now, some of these smaller programs, I think NIL has killed them, like Butler. Butler used to be the Midwest version of Gonzaga, right? This small mid-major program that, because they had good coaching and a good system, right? The Butler way. No matter who you plugged in there as the coach, they were going to be really good. But then here comes the NIL, and Butler doesn't jump on board with that, despite the fact that they charge an insane amount for tuition. A private school in Indianapolis, it's insanely expensive to go to Butler, but they don't believe in spending NIL money, so this is why the basketball program, even if they have a decent coach like they've got right now, they're a mess.
Yeah, and one of the things you notice, too, is how quickly these, and you're seeing it in college football as well, it's not just basketball, but you're seeing how quickly a program can reload. Like how okay, you have one down year. Used to be, man, if you don't have a good recruiting class, you could end up in a spiral where it's 3, 4, 5 years. Now you have a bad year. So what? Free agency period's hit. Let's go get some dudes. You get a decent recruit or two. You go buy some dudes. Now we're back in business. You and I have talked about this before, and I think it's even more true in college basketball than college football. One of the charms growing up of watching, whether it's Notre Dame or IU, is some dude came in as a freshman, and you knew, I'm going to see that guy for the next 4 years. You know, it was always cool. A freshman from Evansville, Indiana. Oh, man, great. I can't, wait.
You learned where some of these places were because of some of the players, right?
Absolutely.
Floyd's Knobs, Indiana. Yeah. Oh, that's where Pat Graham went.
Right. Great reference. Love that. Pat Graham defeated Damon Bailey. That was the 1 year Damon Bailey didn't make it to the state finals in high school. Was they lost to Pat Graham the year he was Mr. Basketball. Anyway, we're getting off track here. But my point of all this is, I just have a hard time emotionally investing in, one, somebody who's only there for 1 year. 2, is making – how much is Trey Galloway making?
I've been told – again, can't confirm if this is accurate or not, but I've been told around $600,000.
That's disgusting.
He wouldn't be first team All-MAC.
No, he stinks. And so why am I going to invest in some college kid that's making $600,000 a year, and he stinks?
And listen, this is another discussion too. Is it okay to say that a college kid stinks when he's getting paid almost $1 million?
Totally.
Because in years past, the argument used to be, even though we kind of knew these dudes were getting paid, well, he's a student athlete. He's just playing the game. He's not a paid professional. You leave him alone. It's a different ballgame now.
Yeah. But this ain't the days of Todd Jadlow and Brian Sloan anymore. These guys are making huge money, and most of them, now Galloway stuck around, of course, for $600,000, I'd stick around too. These dudes aren't invested. You think Ballo cares at all about IU? He went where he got the most money. That's it.
So with all that being said, I still think there's something genuine and something, I don't know if romantic is the right word, about these small conference tournaments. Because like the Horizon League conference tournament is underway. There's not a lot of NIL money in the Horizon League, right? So I like it when these small conferences just get out there and ball as hard as they can, because their goal is to make it to the NCAA tournament, or maybe they can get a game on TV.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. And so, yeah, I'm all team mid-major, totally 100%. Absolutely, you got to cheer for those guys, because you do get the premise. You're under the premise, while they may be getting something, they're certainly not getting what the guys at Duke or Kansas or any of these other places are getting.
So if you're not into college basketball, the association has a few games tonight, and yes, Rob, I have got action tonight.
I want action tonight, satisfaction.
And we're going to keep it here in my backyard. It's a game that I'm actually going to. So I thought, you know what? We're going to study it up. We're going to do the homework. And if I'm going to be there, I want action. I want to bet on it. The Houston Rockets at the Indiana Pacers. Pacers are a 3.5-point home favorite tonight. Over under 231. That is up from 230 last night. I don't want any part of this total, because I know when you think Indiana Pacers, you think run and gun and very little defense. But the fact of the matter is their last 4 games have gone under the total. So I'm going to ignore that total, and we're going to look at the spread here. The Pacers have beaten the Rockets in 9 of the last 10 meetings, And this is night number 2 of a back-to-back for the Rockets. Now, the Rockets substantially better than what they've been in years past, but they have failed to cover in night 2 of a back-to-back in 7 of the last 8 games. So 7 of the last 8, when they're on night 2 of a back-to-back, they have not covered. And not only is it night 2 of a back-to-back, they're on the road tonight. So give me the Pacers. They had a day off yesterday. They're at home. Halliburton seems like he's playing a lot better right now. I'm going to lay 3.5 with the Indiana Pacers tonight.
This is how much you love sports betting that you are willing to subject yourself to having to learn about the NBA. That's how much you love sports betting. Because, man, we talked about this in a recent show. That's a stinker of a product right now.
I like certain teams. I like certain players. The Cleveland Cavaliers, fun to watch.
Right.
It's a group of dudes that remind me of the Pacers a year ago, where they're trying to establish a name, but they got some dudes.
But think about this. When you're a little bit older than me, but growing up, when that NBC Game of the Week was on, you were watching that. Even if you didn't like the team that was playing, or there wasn't some marquee player, like it didn't have to be Jordan and the Bulls.
When I heard John Tesh music,
yes!
I felt alive inside,
and it
baby.
felt real with Marv Albert doing the game, and it was, sometimes you'd be in Madison Square Garden, the Oregon play. You didn't even care. You enjoyed it because those dudes played hard. They were gritty. They were men. I wouldn't, other than the Pacers, I would never stop and watch an NBA game anymore. Why? Why would I do it?
Does no player warrant your interest? Like Luka now on the Lakers, if you're scrolling through, and let's say it's Sunday night, okay, this past Sunday night, the Oscars were on ABC. I found myself watching professional dodgeball on ESPN News.
He did. He sent me the photo. I can verify that.
It was on it. It was fantastic. It was unbelievable. Dudes were doing backflips and shit. Seriously. But if you saw the Lakers were playing, I don't know, the Timberwolves.
Nope.
And it's the Luka lineup, that doesn't warrant your interest.
No, I will still watch playoff NBA basketball because they start trying then. They start playing defense, and they start fouling, and they start acting like men, and it's like real basketball. I will still watch NBA playoff basketball. Regular season, tell me I'm wrong. It's like these guys are half-assing it about 90% of the time out there during the regular season.
That's the problem with the NBA. Like the regular season, it seems like a lot of dudes mail it in. You're right. All right. Coming up next, our professional handicapper. He joins us every Tuesday, David Stefanoff of followneverfade.com. He's got not one, but 2 free plays for you in college basketball. Plus, he'll tell you where to get more of his picks for free. That's coming up next. We are the Degenerates Next Door. Back on the Degenerates Next Door, I'm Jason Hammer. Rob Kendall is here. And let's go to the hotline right now and bring on one of our professional handicappers. He joins us every Tuesday on this program from followneverfade.com, David Stefanoff. David, happy March, my friend.
Hello, Hammer. Happy March. Hello. Thank you for you and Rob for having me on again. March Madness is here, Hammer. Yes, it is. Gave you guys a winner last week with Ooey Pooey and Robert Moore's over. Yes, March Madness is here, Hammer. But before we get started, Hammer, I got a question for you.
Okay.
The Vegas has got a bet. Well, Circa has a huge bet, taking a lot of action right now on the March Madness tournament between. They're giving away Auburn and they're giving away Duke versus the field at even money. How do you feel about that, Hammer? What's your take on that one?
Oh, give me the field.
A lot of good teams. A lot of good teams.
Oh, yeah. Dude, are you kidding me? Give me the field. Now, if they had like a couple other teams in the mix, then maybe. But when you come down to March Madness, and look, I get it. Dudes are getting paid now. It's a little bit of a different ball game. There's a big difference between the haves and the have-nots. But it only takes one dude getting hot to eliminate a major player. Look at Oakland last year. They had that dude with the receding hairline that put it on Kentucky. You get one dude like that, it knocks out of power. So I'm with the field. I don't even think that's close. I can't believe that was even money.
Yeah, it's even money right now. And I mean, you got the likes of me and my friend were talking about last night. Another good handicapper. You're getting Alabama, you're getting Florida, you're getting Iowa State, Arizona, Virginia Commonwealth. Nobody's talking about. You're getting some Maryland. You're getting some good teams there. I mean, I just think Alabama. I think Alabama's right below them too. Because if Alabama's offense is on all cylinders, I think they're unstoppable because their offense is so good. But I haven't made up my mind. I think if Duke Cooper Flagg was a different year. People will be all over this Cooper Flagg story. I think he's the best college basketball we've seen in a long, long time. It really is. I think he's that good. I think he's that good of a difference. They're awfully young. Auburn, though, they're grown men. They got a great coach. They love playing for Pearl. That's a good team. They got a couple bad apples on the team, don't get me wrong, but that's some grown men, and they've been there before.
Right.
I'm split on that, Hammer. I haven't made up my mind yet. But you can get even money right now in Las Vegas on that bet. But
and David, the other reason that I'm all over the field is if you make that bet right now, you have no idea what the regions are going to look like, right? There could be somebody that gets a stacked region where, let's say Duke is in there with Alabama or a Tennessee or even, a tricky Big Ten team, maybe Illinois who's playing really good right now. They could beat anybody on any given day. So, yeah, just looking at the mathematics of it and the way this tournament usually goes, the fact that's even money, I'd be all over the field.
I feel you, Hammer. All right, Hammer, let's get to some picks since we feel one. It's March Madness here. Some of the tournaments have already started. Atlantic Sun started yesterday, a couple of days ago. But let's get to the two games I like tonight. Real quick, I like it's a free play I'm giving away on Twitter today. I like the Memphis UTSA game. Think Hardaway playing UTSA. They're the two fastest teams in college basketball. Memphis scores a lot of more 2-point buckets than anybody in basketball. I think in Memphis might score 100 tonight. That may be the highest scoring game in college basketball this year tonight. Look, quick tidbit. Memphis UTSA over 157 last night. I think it's up to 158 this morning. Everybody play that one. But my play for everybody today is Indiana, Oregon. Indiana's been hot ever since they told Woodson he's out the door. You know what they do. They're behind him. These kids are not very smart. They're behind a guy who don't have to coach basketball. But anyways, we like this game to go over the total. Indiana, Indiana's not very good inside the paint. They're real soft. Ballo gets foul trouble. They give a lot of points up inside. Oregon, one of the best free throw shooting teams, one of the best three-point shooting teams in college basketball. I see lots of points coming tonight out in Eugene between the Hoosiers and the Ducks. I think, honestly, on a neutral court, these teams would be absolutely smoked even because Oregon's got a lot of hype from their early season, pre-conference season. They won a big tournament, won a lot of games. Indiana's been playing really good right now. Don't get me wrong. My heart's with Indiana, but I think they give up a lot of points. Oregon gives up a lot of points. This is a game. I see both teams getting 75. The total set right now at 146. I like Indiana Hoosiers, Oregon Ducks over 146, 147. You have to go up to 147, but I definitely think this game gets to 150 today. And I thank you again, Hammer, and thank you, Rob.
One more thing on this Indiana game, David. And again, you're the professional here. Rob and I, we do the homework, but we don't make a living doing this. You guys do.
Yes, sir.
Any concern that the Hoosiers could just as easily go out there and shoot 2 for 20 from the three-point line? Because let's be honest, that's happened this year.
You're totally spot on with that. I did the math in my head. I literally 20 minutes where we talked on the phone saying, what if IU does – IU's one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the country. They're like 300th. Like, they're really bad. But IU's been so prone that Rutgers ran up and down the court, layup after layup after layup on IU. IU's really vulnerable inside. Washington last game, they looked great. Versus Washington. Washington can't shoot the ball. They're not going to make their tournament. They're not going to make the NIT. They're not very good. That's why IU was a favorite at Washington. But they're playing pretty good right now.
Best time of year for guys like you that are into college basketball. The madness is here. We got college conference tournaments going. The big dance gets rolling here in a couple weeks. If somebody wants to be a VIP, where can they get all of your picks?
Hammer, this is my favorite time of year. I'm loaded in March. We're going to be at the Horizon Conference tournament next week. We're going to be in Vegas for the first week of March. We're going to be back in Indianapolis for the Sweet 16. They're having the host Sweet 16. We're going to be at the Final Four in April. It's a huge month for me. College basketball is what I live for. It's how I make a living, people. I don't have a 9-to-5. I put all my eggs in one basket. College basketball is what I do. You can follow me on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. I give out tons of free plays every day, and my free plays are absolute on fire on all these platforms. Just give me a like, follow. But anyways, my VIP package for March Madness is available right now. You can message me directly, sign up. It's $200. You get every college pick, every NBA pick for the rest of the year. That's March Madness and NBA. And on top of that, I'm giving away baseball for free for the first month while college basketball is going on. Message me directly, sign up, $200. But I thank you, Hammer. I thank you, Rob. It's our time to shine, Hammer. This is when we first started talking a couple years ago, was in March. Let's keep it rolling. Let's have a good March, and good luck to everybody out there today. But we're on IU, Oregon. Over 146, 147, wherever you get it at. Have a great week, guys. Good luck to everybody in March Madness, and don't forget to follow Never Fade.
All right, that's David Stefanoff, Follow neverfade.com. Make sure you check him out online. All right, when we come back, Indy 500 odds already out. Now, you're probably asking yourself, outside of people in Indianapolis, who gives a damn? Well, I'm telling you, there's a steal on the board at ridiculous plus money that you need to jump on now. We'll have that. Rob Kendall's going to get nuts. I've got a Degenerate Special all coming up right after this. We are the Degenerates Next Door. Back on the Degenerates Next Door, and I know everybody's knee-deep in college basketball. It's bracketology time of year. I get it. NBA games starting to pick up a little steam. I got action on the Pacers minus 3.5 tonight. But I wanted to point something out, Rob.
Uh-oh.
I know you love betting on golf. You are the golf betting aficionado of this program.
Almost Masters season, baby.
I'm like this with racing. I love betting on racing because there's a lot of similarities. You can bet on a favorite and still get some pretty good plus money.
Yeah.
You can bet on a couple different dudes, and as long as one of them wins, your toes are tapping. I hit the IndyCar bet this past weekend with Alex Palou.
You love Palou.
He's really good. Now, here's the thing. Indy 500 odds are already out. The greatest
Already?
spectacle in racing. Yes, you could already bet on the Indy 500 just one race into the IndyCar season.
3 months away.
There's some great value on the board. Now, your favorites are Joseph Newgarden and Pato O'Ward. Favorites right now are at plus 700.
Wow.
And again, we're a couple of months away. We haven't even thought about qualifying or any of that kind of stuff. Just right now, you could get those dudes at plus 700, which after qualifying, you're probably not going to get them at that value. So that's pretty good. But I can't pull the trigger on Newgarden. Nobody's ever won this thing 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
So I'm going to cross him off the board. Pato O'Ward's a really good bet. He's gutsy. He's going to go for it. So if you want Pato, I would bet right now is probably the best time to get him. But Alex Palou at plus 1,000 is an absolute steal.
Here we go.
The last 2 years at the Indy 500, through no fault of his own, he's had the best car and did not win.
You do this thing, and I don't know if you know you do it, when you're trying to sell me on a bet, you do this thing where you like open your hand up and you're like, look, man, through no fault of his own. Like, I'm sold, man. You don't have to sell me. It's fine. You're the racing expert. I'm with you.
2 years ago, Alex Palou makes a pit stop, like everybody does throughout the course of a race. Damn the timing. There's an accident on the track that freezes the field.
Yep.
So instead of getting back out and having the pit cycle through and he gets back to where he's supposed to be, he gets stuck at the end of the field. Sucks. Just horrible timing. Okay, chalk that one off. Last year, some also ran that has no business probably being in the race, crashes him out, leaving the pits.
Wasn't my man Stingray Rob, was it?
I don't believe it was Stingray Rob.
Friend of the show.
No. But that's 2 years in a row. The worst possible luck has happened to the best driver in this field with probably the best car. And if you're telling me I can get Alex Palou at plus 1,000 right now, sweet Jesus, do it. Because there's no way, once May gets here, and let's say he's won another race along the way, he's already got one, and he qualifies well, you're not getting plus 1,000 at Alex Palou. Not a chance. This is a steal. Lock him in right now. And if you want to make a couple other bets later on, wait till qualifying. Go ahead. But get Palou at plus 1,000 right now.
Yeah, here's the question that I have for you. I'm looking at the odds here. Where is he at? Palou
is the same as McLaughlin, Kyle Larson, and Scott Dixon, according to Bet Rivers, at plus 1,000.
There it is. There's my guy. Every year I bet on this guy because every year, he's a speedster. He's the fastest guy on the track. He's going to blow past the field. Every year I bet on Rinus VeeKay, and every year he never makes it to lap 100, it seems like. 30-1 on Rinus VeeKay this year. I'll look forward to losing another $1 on Rinus VeeKay.
30-1, there's probably a reason.
My wife is like, did you know his real name is not Rinus VeeKay? Yeah, I know, because every year he crashes out and loses.
You've got Rinus envy. That's what you've got. You've got Rinus envy. And Rob Kendall, speaking of, let's get nuts.
All right, want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts. Lights out. Now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
What are we getting nuts about?
Boy, do I have a deal for you, Hammer. Stay with me.
Okay.
Are you ready for this? The NCAA Tournament getting ready to start, as we talked about. And right now, if you are going to make some long shots, it might be a good idea to get on those now if you think they're going to get in the tournament, because their odds will go down once they get in the tournament.
Sure.
So there's a bunch of teams that are kind of still on the bubble, could go either way. But if you think they're getting in, might be a good idea to strike now. And boy, howdy, Indiana University is 250 to 1 to win the NCAA tournament.
Now, hold on. This is the same Indiana University that you ripped earlier in this show, like not even a week ago, like a segment or two ago. You claimed they were unwatchable.
That's right.
And you want to bet them to win it all.
Well, here's the thing. Remember last episode we talked about how I bet the Mets to win the World Series because we have that obnoxious Mets fan friend, Phil Sanchez.
Local TV anchor in Indianapolis.
Great guy, phenomenal human, just an obnoxious Mets fan. And he gets all neurotic during the whole 162-game baseball season, lives and dies with everything the Mets do. And I got to see it on my Twitter feed. And so I said, well, if I got to see this and be exposed to it, I might as well make some money off of it, or cheer to make some money off of it.
Okay. I have a question. I'm raising my hand.
Yes.
In a previous episode of the Degenerates Next Door, you already picked Indiana to win it all at odds that are nowhere near what they are right now. This was a preseason pick. So you're doubling down on the Hoosiers when they've got an even worse record and there's a chance they might not even make the tournament. You're doubling down? How many times is Indiana going to take your money this year, Rob?
Hammer, that was a different time. Trump wasn't even president back then. We're all different people.
Indiana's like your ex-wife. They just keep taking your money, Rob. Why on blue hell are you continually putting yourself in a position to where you're betting on Mike Woodson? Do you want to put your hard-earned money on Mike Woodson?
So for those of you who are not longtime listeners of the show, I've told this numerous times, when sports betting first became legal in Indiana, I was thinking about betting on maybe when Tampa Bay, I don't know what team Jameis Winston was on, but I was going to bet on them, and Hammer just looks at me and goes, you really want to put your hard-earned money on Jameis Winston?
Bobby Slotman, the man that taught me the sports gambling game, used to run the sports book at the Tropicana. Now I believe he's over at the Westgate. But he was the one that taught me that. Hey, son, do you want to put your hard-earned money on Jameis Winston?
Okay, so here's my thinking. Okay, number one, yes, I did that, but the odds are better now. By better, I mean much higher. They were 60 to 1 when I took them to start the year. Now I can get them at 250 to 1.
What this is like at the blackjack table. The dealer has flipped over a 10. You have got 16 showing. And you're doubling down on a 16 against the dealer's 10. That's what you're doing right now by betting on Indiana twice.
But hear me out on this, okay? I do think they're going to make the NCAA tournament. I think they'll win at least 2 more games before it's all said and done, which will get them 20 wins, which means they'll get in. Now, it might be a play-in game, but the odds will go down once they win. And they've played really well lately. They almost won the only game they lost, which was against UCLA, who's a tournament team. They beat Michigan State at Michigan State. They beat Purdue. They won at Washington. Now, who knows what will happen tonight. But if you think they're getting in, and they've got some dudes, if one of these guys gets hot shooting the ball, they got big guys. Plus, I can't lose on this bet because now
you've lost twice. I'm telling you right now, you're going to lose twice on this bet.
No, listen to this. All I got to do is throw $1 to win $250. You know how I am with money. I'm just freewheeling when it comes to throwing my money out there. The $1, I don't even know that's missing. But if I do put the jinx on them by betting on them, the joy I will get out of listening to talk radio and listening to on local talk radio crap all over Mike Woodson on his way out the door, that'll be worth countless dollars, much less $1. I can't lose with this bet, Hammer.
All right, want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts! Now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
You're Austin Powers at the blackjack table. Sir, I suggest you hit. I like to live dangerously. All right, man, I don't know if I can follow that, but cue up the band. We've got some Horizon League Conference Tournament action tonight.
It's time for Hammer's Degenerate Special.
Green Bay at Oakland. Horizon League Conference Tournament. Oakland. They're kind of the bullies in this conference. Remember last year they had that dude with the receding hairline that just hit all the threes? Looked like he was like 40 years old on his second divorce.
Those are my favorite guys in the NCAA tournament because you get to see these guys who are just like little gems of society.
Minus 10.5 is the line tonight. This is at Oakland. Total 145.5. Now, let's go back a few days. These teams met in Green Bay on March 1st. Green Bay was a home dog of 9.5. That game was really close. Oakland pulled it out by 3, but they did not cover. But that was also at Green Bay. I believe that may have been senior night for Green Bay, so they gave it everything they've had, right? Quick turnaround on the road, conference tournament game. Green Bay has lost 15 straight road games. 15 straight road games. And I feel like Oakland's going to take this a lot more seriously than they did just a few days ago. So at Oakland, quick turnaround. Green Bay's got one of their dudes banged up too. It's a big number, but we're going to lay 10.5. If I'm going to play it, I'm going to lay it. 10.5. Oakland is the play. Hat tip Teddy covers on that line. And Horizon League Degenerate Special. All right, those are our plays for tonight. You've got David Stefanoff, our professional. He's got the over in the Memphis UTA game, the over in Indiana and Oregon. I've got the Pacers minus 3.5 tonight, and Oakland Horizon League Tournament covering against Green Bay minus 10.5. We will be back on Thursday with more action, more bets, more debates. Until then, may the odds be ever in your favor. And on behalf of David Stefanoff, Rob Kendall, I'm Jason Hammer. We will talk to you on Thursday. We are the Degenerates Next Door.